Michael Jackson earned over $1 billion and still couldn't sleep without fear. Let that sink in. Because somewhere right now, someone is telling themselves, if I just make it, if I just become successful, everything inside me will finally calm down. No, it won't. It will get louder. We love the fantasy of success because it's clean. You imagine applause, control, validation, freedom. What you don't imagine is the paranoia. The nights where silence feels dangerous. The feeling that every person in the room wants something from you. The realization that the higher you go, the less human you're allowed to be. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Success doesn't heal you. It exposes you. Michael wasn't just famous. He was watched. Every move, every word, every expression analyzed, judged, twisted. Imagine living in a world where you can't have a bad day. Because your bad day becomes global entertainment. You think you want attention. What you actually want is approval. And those are not the same thing. Let's talk about childhood. Because this is where people get uncomfortable and where everything actually starts. Michael didn't become Michael Jackson on stage. He was built there, conditioned, a child who learns. You are loved when you perform. You are safe when you are perfect. You are valuable when people clap. That child doesn't grow into confidence. That child grows into dependency. And here's where it gets brutal. Because society rewards that child. The more he performs, the more he sacrifices himself. The more he disconnects from who he actually is. The more the world says, yes, this is greatness. So now you have a man who has everything the world told him to want. Money, fame, status, influence, and absolutely no idea who he is without it. That's not success. That's psychological imprisonment with luxury furniture. People love to say, genius comes with a price. No, genius doesn't come with a price. Unresolved trauma does. Let's stop romanticizing suffering for a second. A child who is pushed, controlled, and emotionally neglected doesn't become great because of pain. They become driven by it. There's a difference. One is power. The other is survival. When your worth is built on performance, you don't rest. You don't relax. You don't feel enough. Ever. Because enough was never part of the system. The system was more, better, perfect. And perfection is a game you lose every single time. So what happens? You create. You achieve. You dominate your field. And then silence hits. And in that silence, there's no applause. No validation. No distraction. Just you. And that's the part people are not prepared for. Because if you spent your entire life becoming someone, you never learned how to just be someone. Let's talk about fear. Not the kind you post about. Not the I'm scared to fail nonsense. Real fear. The kind that sits in your chest at 3 a.m. The kind that whispers, they don't love you. They love what you give them. And deep down, you know it's true. You think fame protects you. Fame amplifies everything. Your insecurity becomes paranoia. Your loneliness becomes isolation. Your need for control becomes obsession. And here's the part nobody wants to admit. The world doesn't care. Not really. The same people who scream your name will dissect you the moment you slip. Because you're no longer a person. You're a symbol. And symbols don't get empathy. Michael built an empire. But internally, he was still that child trying to earn love. Still performing. Still proving. still chasing something that doesn't exist in the external world. And you might think, okay, but that's him. That's extreme. Is it? Or is it just the exaggerated version of what you're doing on a smaller scale? Let's be honest. You don't want success. You want to feel enough. You just chose a very complicated way to try to get there. Because if you believed you were enough right now, you wouldn't need to prove it. You wouldn't need the external scoreboard. You wouldn't need strangers to validate your existence. But here is the trap. The moment you start chasing worth externally, you lose control of it. Now your value depends on views, money, attention, status, recognition, and those things are unstable. Always. So you keep running. Faster, higher, further, not because you're ambitious, but because you're afraid of stopping. Because stopping means facing what's underneath. And what's underneath is usually uncomfortable. Not good enough. Not loved enough. Not seen enough. Old narratives. Old wounds. Still running the system. Michael didn't lose himself at the top. He brought a fractured self to the top. And success magnified the cracks. That's the part nobody tells you. You don't become a new person when you make it. You become a louder version of who you already are. So if you're empty, success makes it louder. If you're anxious, success makes it louder. If you're insecure, success makes it louder. But if you're grounded, then success becomes a tool, not a crutch. And that's the difference between power and dependency. People look at someone like Michael and see the outcome. The fame, the influence, the legacy. They don't see the cost, the mental loops, the fear, the isolation, the pressure of being on all the time. Because we edit reality. We take the highlight reel and build fantasies on top of it. But here's the reality. You can have everything and still not feel safe in your own mind. So before you chase the billion, ask yourself something uncomfortable. What exactly am I trying to fix? Because if your goal is success, but your real need is emotional stability, you're solving the wrong problem. And solving the wrong problem perfectly still leaves you broken. Michael's story isn't just about fame. It's about misalignment between external achievement and internal reality. And if you ignore that, you don't avoid his fate. You just recreate a quieter version of it. Different scale, same pattern. So the question is, do you want success? The question is, what are you expecting success to give you that you haven't built internally yet? Because if you don't answer that honestly, you won't just chase success. You'll depend on it. And dependency always comes with fear. Fear of losing it. Fear of not being enough without it. Fear of being exposed. And that's how someone can have everything and still feel like they're one moment away from losing it all. Not because they actually are, but because internally, they never had it to begin with. So maybe the real question is, why was Michael afraid? Maybe the real question is, if you got everything you want tomorrow, would you finally feel at peace? Or would you just become more afraid of losing it?